Queen's Public Library online program. My name is Linda, and many of you remember me from the past library programs conducted at Central Library Branch, Jamaica, Queens. These days, because of the COVID-19 virus, we are continuing in a new online format. Queens Public Library is open. You are welcome to apply for digital library cards by visiting our website www.queenslibrary.org, www.queenslibrary.org. Queens Public Library is open for to-go and drop-off services. To find out more about library service and future programs and events, again, please visit our website www.queenslibrary.org, www.queenslibrary.org. And I would like to say that Queens Public Library this year is celebrating a 125th anniversary. We are proud to serve for people of New York City, Queens, and New York State. And now imagine how many arts, how much art is in New York and in the world. And my job is to deliver, to choose and deliver program for all of you, to deliver joy for all of you, regardless what's happening around us these days. And I have chosen Marc Chagall not only because I believe that he is one of the most prominent artists of 20th century, but also I have personal connection with Marc Chagall. How? I was born in a city called Smolensk in Russia. Smolensk is bordering with Belarus, and Marc Chagall was born in a city called Vitebsk, located in Belarus. And my city is just in 2 hours from Vitebsk, where Marc Chagall was born. So Marc Chagall is very, very special person to me. And I will enjoy program with you, and I'd like to deliver and share my joy with all of you. So let's begin. And now let me invite presenter. Her name is Elena Zelenina. She is an artist. She is an art educator. She is an author of the book Art Completes You. And let me invite Elena Zelenina to begin our talk about Marc Chagall. Please enjoy.
I'm so happy this program was chosen for you all because we are living in amazing time. Everything changes, and some changes might be difficult, and we are in the middle of pandemic, but history did leave lessons for us, and some artists like Marc Chagall leave us with a lot of hope for the future. I honestly think that if we accomplish just one thing, you going through this talk about Marc Chagall listening to the music, because we're going to have a live musician perform for you in 3 different languages to get you to the taste, the culture, the taste of these cultures where Marc Chagall was drawing his inspiration. That this introductory for those who maybe have not explored his artistic vision before. You can start your journey with his art, and those like me who already admire the Grand Master will maybe just get some glimpse of inspiration for you today, because his art and his life can be, in fact, a source of immense inspiration. We will post the links to some of his artwork, because this format, I will try to show you some paintings and I will come closer to the camera, but because we're online, so many resources are available for everyone, we will do that. And library, by the way, does have books with his paintings, so if you're a member of the library, you can just borrow them and spend some time looking at the paintings, reading more about him. And if you are more contemporary, you can do it right away online. So before I start the talk, I wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that many artists, unfortunately or fortunately, rather, they become famous after their death. It was not the case with Chagall. He was among those who were considered prominent, outstanding, interesting, new, fresh, when he was creating his art. And that's amazing. I wanted to read to you, just to give you an idea of some awards that he received during his lifetime. So he passed away in 1895. So before that, 1960, Brandeis University here in New York gave him an honorary degree in laws, commerce, and fine arts. In 1977, the city of Jerusalem gave him the Worthy Citizen of Jerusalem Award. In 1977, the government of France gave him the highest honor, which is Grand Croix de la Légion d'honneur. I apologize for my French, but it is the name of the honor that he received. Belgium, the Royal Academy, awarded him. In 1963, the documentary was made about him. And even he has even postage tributes to his art. France, 1963, created a stamp from his art. 1969, Israel produced a series of stamps. In 1987, 7 countries created stamps honoring his work. So, I'm going to show you some of the books and some images of him that I have on my computer. Facebook Live, unfortunately, does not allow to do the share screen, so I am going to, for some of the things, use my computer. And I just want you to have a glimpse of how, in fact, he looked. because he was a dreamer. He was a dreamer. So who was he? Who was he? Where does he come from? What do we know about him? He was born in Vitebsk, and it's in Belarusia, a very beautiful city. The family had 9 children, and he was a Jew. So at that time, in Russia, there were certain restrictions to where the Jews can get educated, what are they allowed or not allowed to do. And his life and the whole painting experience, artistic experience, are very much connected to where he came from. Interestingly enough, he was going not to a regular school up until the age of 13. He was going to the Jewish school, and they were studying also the Bible. So these two cultures, they were intertwining in him very early. And later on, he will make illustrations for the Bible, and he will visit the Holy Land. But the motives from his young age stayed with him all his life. I want to show you the okay, I hope you can see. So you will see the violin in his paintings quite often. It's very, very, very much connected to a Jewish tradition. And we were thinking how to create, because if you heard what I mentioned, when certain group of people has restrictions of where they can get education, what they can do, what are they allowed to do or not allowed to do, it doesn't sound very happy and upbeat, right? It sounds as oppression and loss of rights, human rights, and that's what this people were going through. And despite all that, they were dancing and singing, and the whole culture values family so much. And Chagall had this throughout his life, love for his people, for his roots, for his family. And we were thinking how to give you the taste of that. And we are very, very lucky because we have a musician with us, which is, he's coming. His name is Rami HLay, and the special thing about him is, as I mentioned before, he sings, he's a composer, he is a performer, and he sings in 3 different languages. So to give us the taste of what it is, what is that culture like that influenced Marc Chagall so much. By the way, he is considered the prominent Jewish artist. Many times had exhibits everywhere, including New York Jewish Museum twice already after his death. And so what was that culture? Despite of being oppressed, how much they valued music and education. And we will talk about his mom and how she helped Chagall to still get what she thought was necessary for her son. So to get one more time to give you the taste of all that. I wanted to invite our awesome Rami here, and he's going to just enjoy, listen to this music.
Thank you.
Isn't that amazing? So visualize that culture where, let's say you're a mom and your child, like Marc Chagall, really wanted to become a painter. And he had two options. One is to hide his Jewish roots, because that was not allowed and he could not go to the highest education in fine arts, or support your child and find a way to do it. So when he was 13, he was studying, as I told you, in the Jewish school where they learned Hebrew and they studied Bible. So his mom really wanted him to go to a regular school with no restrictions. So she went to such school with him when he was 13 and said that she wants to sign up her son for the school. And they asked, is he Jewish? And she said, yes. So the dean immediately said, oh, no, no Jewish kids allowed. thank you, no Jewish kids allowed. So she looked at him and got literally bribed right on the spot. She gave him 50 rubles. So you understand, it's the average salary was about 20, and it worked. He was accepted to the regular school and got a regular degree. So it's also very interesting when we look at the culture and people who are oppressed, like Jews in Russia at that time, which is end of 19th century, beginning of the 20th century. You all know that it ended up in Germany with Holocaust, which Chagall also will talk about it. But so at the same time, people are people. And even if the government was at the time putting restrictions, there were some people who were still kind and nice and wanted to help. And so he did go to to St. Petersburg, which at that time he needed a passport, which he did not have. So his friends organized a temporary passport for him so he can go and enroll into the prominent, excellent schools, universities for artists, where his professional training started. When he was in Vitebsk, he was very talented, and there are portraits of him at that time done by his art teachers. If you look a little bit online, more of how he looked and what was happening with him at his early years, wanted to have this, Picasso said that after Matisse, you can say that only Chagall really understood color. And that's a lot, because, and that's true too. He's, but coming back, he's amazing. So Russian roots and people who were still trying to help recognized the talent and recognized the oppression that these people, Jews, were going through. So we were thinking how to convey that. And Rami found the beautiful, it's very contemporary Russian song, and it's about love and the tree, which is very popular in Russia. It has like this red berries. People always love people. I think that's the message. So we are going to listen to Rami right now with this song. So this is the second culture that influenced Chagall very much, and it's more than two.
Познакомил нас с тобой, столько лет тебя искал, а такой всю жизнь мечтал. Красная рябина, рябина, рябина. грустила, улетело теплое лето, осень, а любви моей ничего и не спроси. Красная рябина, 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 под моим окном все грустила, грустила, улетело теплое лето, осень, а любви моей ничего и не спроси. Ты теперь всегда со мной, как за каменной стеной. Посмотри в мои глаза, как же я люблю тебя. Красная рябина, 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 под моим окном все грустила, грустила, улетело теплое лето, осень, а любви моей ничего и не спроси. Красная рябина, 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 под моим окном все грустила, грустила, улетело теплое лето, осень, а любви моей ничего и не спроси. Thank you very much.
So these are two cultures, right? And he started his training, so he went to St. Petersburg and started training as an artist. But at this point, I want to switch your attention to love. Because his love and his experience of love and the girl himself went with him throughout everything. And actually, I wanted to read you a couple of sentences of what they thought when they met each other, how it was. She's in all his paintings, many, not all, many of his paintings. And when he was expressing the pain of the Holocaust, he connected it to her. But I want to show you, this is the idea. I want to show you the painting that he created of her in 1917. You are online if you are watching, right? So you might as well at the same time just Google the images so you can look it on a bigger screen, because not just on that book that I am showing you. But just 1 second. Her name is Bella. Her name is Bella, and he painted it in 1917. That's the love of his life, his inspiration. So let me read let me read what they thought about each other when they met. He said that her silence is mine, her eyes mine. It is so if she knows everything about my childhood, my present, my future, and she can still see right through me. And Bella wrote, when you did catch a glimpse of his eyes, they were as blue as if they'd fallen straight out of the sky. They were strange eyes, kind, long, almond-shaped, and each seemed to sail along by itself, like a little boat. So her parents, of course, were concerned about her marrying Chagall. They wanted her to be secure and have a good life. And being an artist does not necessarily represent that lifestyle. So Chagall wanted to prove himself that he can in fact support her being an artist. And his plan, of course, worked out. When he was proposing, in trying to convince her parents that he is a good husband, future husband for her, he organized the show, because he was becoming, at that time already, getting recognition for his art. So they were dealers who were interested in his creations. So his plan was to create an art show, have sales, marry Bella, and then go back to Paris. And everything worked out, except that the First War broke up. First World War started. So there was no way to leave Russia at the time, and they did all the plans a little bit later, because it was, can you only imagine World War I, Russian Revolution, World War II, Holocaust? I mean, it's a lot for one lifetime, and he was an artist who was in love, and his love was Bella. When they were saving themselves from what was going on in Europe, they were in France at that time, in the 40s, when the war started, and they went to America. Lots of help from all different people helped the family to escape. Art actually helped him not to even realize what was going on. I think it, maybe they delayed their departure, but also he kept his sanity. Anyway, they made it to New York, and unfortunately, Bella died from a virus, and for many, many months he could not recover. He could not paint, he could not work at all. He did have 2 love stories, 2 relationships throughout his life. However, this stayed probably the most significant one. And they had a child, they had a daughter, Ida. So the love of Chagall's life, and we chose an amazing song for you. Yes, I'm inviting Rami, because we are still so beautiful. We have a live musician right here in the studio. How creative are we all with all this new situation? So this is the live song, because when you think about Chagall as an artist, not understanding how much in love he was what was the love to his wife that he experienced? It's just not to know Chagall fully. So enjoy.
Ich hab dich zu viel lieb. Ich trug dich ein Herz. Ich hab dich zu viel lieb. Zu sein und dir im Gas. Ich hab dich zu viel lieb. Zu sein und dir verliebt.
So that was the love story of Chagall. Now let's go back, because Bella is in many of his paintings, but now let's talk about how his style was formed. So in 1910, he went to Paris to identify his style, look at more things, and you know that Paris is literally a hub of creativity, and it's the place where, I don't know, everyone, including me, we feel like you cannot stop painting when you're in Paris. I mean, for artists, for sure. Interesting thing also, I was talking the other day with my students, and some of them said, well, but wait a second, you are saying he is Russian, Belarusian, and Jewish, but isn't he French? And that often happens to artists. The same story is with Van Gogh. France is so powerful and so good to artists in discovering who they are, that often people start associating them just with French, just with that culture. And I want to show you the painting. I have it on my computer. I want to show you the painting. It's called Out of the Window in Paris. It is in a permanent collection of the Guggenheim Museum here in New York. So for those of you who have an opportunity, museums here right now are open. So you can go there and enjoy not the copy, not the print, but the original piece. And I'm going to show those who are viewing from my computer screen. I'm not sure it's going to be that great, but even there in that painting, you can see how all ideas you will see at the painting, and if you already Googled, maybe you have it on your screen, you will see the upside down trains, you will see the parachutes that, for example, at that time it was just a brand new thing. You will see a person who is two-sided. Many ideas in one painting. And I want to say that Chagall was the artist who did not like to explain his art. Right now, I know you notice that when we present our art, when I have a show, I have the description of the painting, I have to come up with a title. And if you notice, we right now, rarely you will see a still life. It's gotta be something interesting, exciting, because words are very important. Chagall was all against it. He wanted just the conversation that the viewer has with him or herself. So he expressed something that he had in him at that moment, and when a person starts looking at that painting, that conversation between the painting that is expressed by the master, and Chagall is a master, and me, the viewer, starts. So I am going to show you, even on the screen, that painting. I hope you can see it, or Google it, you can see it right away. And you can go one more time into Guggenheim Museum and look at it in real life. Look how many details, and look at the color. So I think Picasso words, they do seem right? He really knows and understands what engaging color is, that you cannot take your eyes off. So that was Paris, and that was Paris, that was France, and that was another huge influence. And ability actually to formulate to himself who he is as an artist. He combined beautifully all different art styles at that time that were popular, took them into, it feels like, completely new direction. We will talk about it later, because right now we just want to create that amazing French atmosphere, and Paris is my favorite city as well. So, and Rami can actually sing in French as well. So, super excited, enjoy. Imagine you are a friend of Marc Chagall and you are walking the streets of Paris and listening to the song.
oublie. Et moi je suis mi-passe en gauche, mi-bien. J'ouvre les sons, je change ma main. Promesse, payer ta vie, alors tout le monde passe. Je brise mon corps, je pense au sein. Et jamais j'écoute pas, je ne comprends pas bien la belle personne. La belle personne. Je donne le rire, je chante le prix, tout c'est les grès, tombant les chiens, mon blanc, son beau, tout la les je donne toujours mes prisons, tout le monde passe. Je brise mon corps, je pense au sein. Et jamais j'écoute pas, je ne comprends pas bien la belle personne. La belle personne. La belle. Thank you again.
Sorry for the technical glitch, but overall I think we're doing great. So for what is a good idea to remember about Chagall, so as an artist? Try to remember just these two things, that he could convey very, very strong messages using just 2 or 3 colors. And another thing is, he was very consistent with his subject matter. We spoke a little bit about his love story. So lovers will be consistent throughout his work. Acrobats. He looked at all the events, and I'm just going to remind you. So he sees the First World War, the Second World War. He sees the Holocaust. He starts in Vitebsk, which is in Belarus, in a Jewish community, oppressed by our standards for sure. He climbs out of there, becomes a prominent artist, gets stuck in Russia, goes to Paris, then gets stuck in Russia, meets the love of his life, goes back to Paris. A very prominent modern artist who is in the 30s was also commissioned to illustrate Bible. So he goes to the Holy Land to explore, and he explores all the stories, but also his own Jewish roots. One thing I also want to mention with the war, because the United States became the place where he was saved from Nazis. Interesting thing was that Nazis did not like modern art. So imagine this combination. So they do not approve or like modern art because it's too free thinking. It's hard to brainwash artists, although possible, but still it's just too much possibilities they can see. And they identify Jews as their people who need to disappear from the planet because they are just wrong kind of people. So he happens to be both. He is a prominent Russian artist who chose to embrace being a Jew. So his art in the beginning of the World War II, in a way, allowed him not to even realize what was going on. And I mentioned that delayed their going to America, but with the help of the friends and many other writers who were quite famous also were going to the US, or they were thinking where to hide from all of that. So he found his place here. And when they arrived, in 1941, he got involved with the American living here, and he loved this country very much. Actually, in 1977, he gave a gift of 2 murals to Metropolitan Opera. You can still see them. He created many things for when he was here for Chicago. We have stained glass windows, which will be also another thing to remember about Chagall, because he took the stained glass window art, which is in his case, because he is a dreamer and his subjects are so elusive and they are constantly moving. So if you look at his painting through the glass, the light that's constantly changing helps to see the painting all the time with a little different meaning and different perception. So I want to show that a lot of his art is, like in this painting that I show, is upside down. He uses acrobats a lot, and things are that the train that's upside down keeps going. So I'm going to show you a couple of works, but again, you are online, so I am showing, but you also find the real images, and we will post links so you can see the art. So just, I'm gonna put it here. So it's a simple book, but you will see musicians, you will see acrobats, and you will see lovers through his lots of his art. And these are the examples of the stained glass windows that you can find, including here, and murals and theater. So can you really explain everything what he was? No, that's not the point. The point is, we are hoping you will just get inspired to know about him a little more, about his spirit, about his love for life and people, and also think how much he combined in his art. And he is sometimes artists are kind of in the past because they already said whatever they wanted to say. But I feel that in case of Chagall, he is more present. And that's why his work just keeps being interesting, and we are looking at it. And it's not just because it's modern, it's because it's super contemporary, it's super, like our world went upside down. 2020, wasn't it completely upside down? Very much like Marc Chagall's paintings, but speaking to people, I've noticed that many found their balancing act and became, in fact, more centered, more creative, started cherishing what took for granted before. So, looking at his art, his life, and his message is very inspiring. Inspiring to me as an artist, as an educator, and if we did, we will feel we are super successful if you got curious in this new artist and explored him a little more, or just went and started painting yourself. That would be good too. So we found a really, he passed away in 1985 in France, and whatever we say, it's a master, it's a grand master artist. If you forget everything, whatever I said, remember that, with an incredible spirit. And we chose, Rami is going to perform right now a very special Jewish song, which is, I think, reflects Chagall as well very much, that this strong spirit of love to life and people.
Sehen du zusammen, Anita, Ina, Frederik, mit Frederik von Igram. Die Mama kommt an der Lokschen zu den Kaschen in den Knebel. Kinder und mit Spiel und Kinder sind in Minarelle. Chiri, chiribam, chiribim, bam, 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 chiri, chiribam, chiribim, bam, 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 bam. Chiri, biri, 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 bam, bam. Chiri, biri, 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 bam, chiribim, bam, 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 bam. Che vincono il vaso, zaina le fastidio, trinca l'oro di renas. Chiri, chiribam, chiribim, bam, 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 chiribim, chiribam, chiribim, bam, 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 bam. Chiribiri, biri, 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 bam, bam. Chiribiri, biri, 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 bam, chiribim, bam, 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 bam. chidi, chidi bum, chidi bum 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 bum, chidi bidi 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 bum bum, chidi bidi 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 bum, chidi bum 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 bum. Leute sind gekinder Leute, erzählen gut zusammen. Panico in der Fremde, mit Fremden von den Graben. Die Mami kommt in Ocean, so den Garten in den Nebel. Kinder Jungen spielen, Jungen sind in den Arenen. Chidi, chidi bum, chidi bum 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 bum. Chidi, chidi bum, chidi bum 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 bum. Chidi bidi 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 bum bum. Chidi bidi 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 bum. Chidi bum 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 bum. Chidi, chidi bum, chidi bum 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 bum. Chidi, chidi bum, chidi bum 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 bum. Chidi bidi 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 bum bum. Chidi bidi 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 bum. Chidi bum 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 bum.
Well, that concludes our talk today, and I wanted to finish with the words by Marc Chagall, which are, everything in art must spring from the movement of what makes life stream. If our whole being, including their unconsciousness. So he's here, I am sure. Yes, we're coming back. So thank you very much for being with us today.
Dear friends, I would like to thank you again for being with us today. I hope you enjoy our program about Marc Chagall. We are proud to serve you at Queen's Public Library. Please follow us on Queen's Public Library Facebook page or at our website www.queenslibrary.org. Our next program is on February 13th, will be dedicated to Valentine's Day. We will try to bring more joy to all of you. Thank you again, have a wonderful weekend, and let's try to enjoy every day of our life. Bye-bye.